Ms. Henry, let's talk a little law. If I challenge a rule under the Administrative Procedures Act, what do I have to prove?
Thank you for that
You are welcome.
question. Senator, in the 25 plus years that I've been trying cases in federal court and in state court, I've never had to bring a claim under the Administrative Procedures Act, so I'm not sure of what's required.
You don't know the answer?
I don't.
Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Hot News Today. I'm diving into something from Capitol Hill, a moment that lit up political Twitter and got law nerds scratching their heads. Today I'm breaking down during a recent Senate Judiciary Committee hearing. He questioned nominee Adeel Henry on some very basic and some very debated legal principles. What followed? Well, let's just say it got awkward. Let's get into it.
All right, let me ask you this. You'll probably see this in district court. Is partisan gerrymandering legal?
Thank you for that question. I think that I would have to evaluate that claim if it were before me, and in doing so, I would look at what's involved in.
But is it legal?
Senator, I have not had that issue before me in my years.
Do you know what
practice.
it is?
I do understand. What I understand is that is when the districts are separated, voting districts, based on different political groups.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Is it legal or illegal?
Senator, I haven't had that issue before me in my 30 years of practice.
You don't know?
So, but if I'm faced with that issue, I would research it and I'd be prepared to address it.
Okay.
So first, a little setup. Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana, you know him for that southern drawl and razor-sharp one-liners, is questioning judicial nominee Adeel Henry. Henry's daughter Allison is in the room along with her own child, and Kennedy even tries to get a word out of Allison before the grilling begins. She politely declines. Smart move. Then Kennedy flips the switch. Kennedy starts off pretty mild. If I challenge a rule under the Administrative Procedures Act, what do I have to prove? Henry's response? Kennedy, so you don't know the answer? Henry, I don't. Yikes. Then he moves on to partisan gerrymandering. Whether it's legal. Henry stumbles again. She admits she's never encountered the issue in her 30-year career. And then, blue laws.
Do you know what a blue law is?
Blue laws.
Studied that in law school, I'm sure.
I believe a blue law, Senator, is having to do with selling alcohol on certain days.
Yeah, like usually on Sunday.
Like, yes, Senator.
Yeah. Does that violate the Establishment Clause? Does the blue law, let me be more precise, I'm sorry. Does the blue law violate the Establishment Clause?
Senator, I don't believe a blue law does violate the Establishment Clause.
Okay, why not?
Well, because, Senator.
If a legislature says you can't open and sell, let's say, food or anything on Sunday, not Thursday, not Saturday, Sunday, why doesn't that violate the Establishment Clause?
Senator, I think there was an issue in a recent Supreme Court case that talked about whether they could force, it was a postal worker, to have to work on Sundays.
Kennedy asks if a blue law, like banning alcohol sales on Sundays, violates the Establishment Clause. Henry struggles to articulate a clear answer, instead referencing a completely different Supreme Court case. At this point, Kennedy is clearly frustrated, and frankly, I would be too. Then comes a bit of a law school pop quiz. Kennedy, tell me the difference between proximate cause and cause in fact.
What's the difference between proximate cause and cause in fact?
My understanding of it, Senator, and because it has not come up in my 30 years of criminal practice, is that we look to whether something was directly caused or inadvertently caused, and that would be the idea of the difference between the two levels of causation. And I was only saying that in my criminal practice, when we look at whether something is caused, we look at the intent of a statute or of someone's action.
Intent has nothing to do with it.
I know, I understand that. I was just simply, I was explaining
in
the
a
difference
civil case.
Yes, I understand that.
That's criminal.
Yes, correct.
All right.
Henry gives a confused, muddled answer. Kennedy interrupts. Intent has nothing to do with that, he says flatly. And he's right. And while watching this, I just kept thinking, before we go to the final exchange, real quick, if you're into politics, law, or just love watching public officials get grilled, hit that button below. And don't forget to turn on notifications. I break down moments like this every week. Now here's the kicker. Kennedy asks about the A huge topic in antitrust law. Henry just doesn't know. Again, she says she'd look it up. At this point, Kennedy doesn't even hide the frustration. He quips. Then, with some Louisiana charm, he turns back to Allison. Did you change your mind? Anything you want to say? No? How about vote for your mom? Honestly? Savage. But funny. So what do you think? Was this just a bad day for the nominee? Or is it a red flag when someone aiming for a federal bench can't answer basic legal questions? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think on this one. And hey, if you enjoyed the breakdown, and turn on the bell so you never miss these political moments as they happen. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and I'll catch you in the next one.